Another year means another year of games, and there are a lot of horror games on the horizon. Some have confirmed dates, some are still to be announced, but the news is still good. We've got some excitingly terrifying adventures ahead of us, and even though I personally have a love-hate relationship with the horror genre, I am looking forward to all of the thrills. We have got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump in. Just in time for Valentine's Day, Reanimal is coming out on February 13th. This is a co-op horror adventure from the creators of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, where you play as a brother and sister navigating some truly terrifying and hellish landscapes on a mission to save your friends. The game's design focuses heavy on creating a truly tense atmosphere, which you're probably all too familiar with if you've played their Little Nightmares games. The environment and design of the world and characters is equally intriguing and disturbing. They've kind of taken the broken parts of us, or the children you play as, to influence both the kids and the monsters that are tormenting them. You can explore a bit here. There's obviously the main path, but this game will feature some secret mysteries that you can only find by venturing off the beaten path. This is another kind of minimalist style game where the narrative is left open to interpretation rather than being something quite so cut and dry. While it is co-op, it's also fully playable single player as well, so if you'd rather brave hell alone, Godspeed.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Like I said, this game comes out February 13th, but there is a demo available right now. Reanimal is coming to Steam, Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. If platformers are more your thing, fear not, because there is a horror game on this list for you. In Love Eternal, you play as Maya, a child that has been taken from her family by a lonely and selfish god. Along with the normal running and jumping that's present within this genre, you will also have an ability to reverse gravity to help you break free from this prison. This is a psychological horror platformer, and you'll get to see the narrative unfold as you experience this world of broken memories. There are even choices to be made. The hand-drawn art is also very cool, and between the art style and the soundtrack, I think this is shaping up to be an unsettling game in all of the right ways. Love Eternal comes out February 19th and will be available on Steam, Nintendo Switch, the PlayStations, and Xbox One. This game has pretty much lived in the back of my mind since it was announced, and I'm looking forward to it so much. The Resident Evil games became some of my favorite games, albeit very late in life since I just kind of played through them within the last 2 years, but they felt very approachable to me, at least when playing as Leon. Nothing scares that man. Look at him, he's a badass. These were kind of my introduction to playing horror games, and I even love the direction that Resident Evil 7 took, where that was really more of a survival horror experience. Loved and hated it, but I wanted more of that. Resident Evil Requiem is blending the best of both, because we get to experience true terror with Grace Ashcroft, and also, again, being a badass with Leon. We are heading back to Raccoon City, where Grace, an FBI analyst, has been sent to investigate a mysterious death. Leon shows up there as part of his own investigation in the ongoing war against bioterrorism. The details that are represented between the different personalities and experience level of our two protagonists is insanely impressive. Like with Grace's shaky hands while aiming down sights, and Leon's pure steadiness. I can't wait to see how their stories overlap, and it honestly looks truly terrifying. I am both not ready and extremely ready to play it. Requiem comes out February 27th and is coming to Steam, Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. Another popular horror franchise entry is getting a little bit of a makeover. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly is getting a remake that comes out on March 12th, and it looks so good so far. The original game came out in 2003, so obviously the quality of the graphics have been greatly improved upon. But besides that, they've also overhauled the audio and the core gameplay systems and controls. The story follows twins Mio and Mayu Amakura as they become trapped in a mysterious village that is revealed to be cursed because, of course it is. After they find the camera obscura, which allows them to see and exorcise spirits, of course, all of these spirits wake up, and they must now work to unravel the secrets of the village and discover how to escape. The mechanics of the camera obscura that were present in the original are still there, but they did get a lot of improvements, and they actually have new features so that you can use it a bit more heavily and creatively in your exploration and combat. There's also a new hand-holding mechanic between Mayu and Mio, so you can reassure the other one and heal yourself, and it offers a little bit of a heartfelt moment in an otherwise extremely creepy environment. The audio audio was designed to be a lot more immersive, there's new side stories, new areas to explore, and while I was unable to play the original one, I am really looking forward to this remake. It looks really good. There's going to be a demo releasing March 5th, with the full release on the 12th. This game is coming out on Steam, Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. If there's one thing I know at all about the Appalachian Forest, it is that you don't go out by yourself, especially not at night. Project Songbird really answers the question of what if I ignored all of that advice? In this game, you play as Dakota, a musician who is suffering from the curse of writer's block. They decide that the best cure for this is isolation, which they choose to do in a cabin in the middle of the seemingly empty Appalachian Forest. This is, unsurprisingly, a first-person survival horror experience where you will traverse haunting locations and surreal dreamscapes as you fight to survive the terrors that live in these woods. This game looks amazing. The environmental design is absolutely gorgeous, and of course the soundtrack is appropriately eerie and haunting to really amp up that terror. Project Songbird features ranged and melee combat with upgradable weapons, so you can just really arm yourself for whatever lies ahead. I feel like this is definitely going to be one of the creepier things that I've played in a while, like really makes your skin crawl creepy. There is a little teaser demo available that you can play right now, but the full game is launching on March 26th and it's coming to Steam, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. If you're a fan of the asymmetric multiplayer genre and you also love horror classics, good news! Halloween is coming out this year. Asymmetric multiplayer is that 1 versus 4 setup like Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th, Evolve, etc. In this game, one of your team will be the famous Michael Myers as he stalks the residents of Haddonfield on Halloween night in 1978. Even though they're scared, these people are not going down without a fight. So, Michael will have to stick to the shadows and employ some stealth tactics if he's going to continue his night of terror. If you're on the opposite side, playing one of the town's heroes, it's going to be your job to alert the residents and help them escape, fending Michael off as best you can, while you also work to convince the police and the townspeople of the very real threat. You can arm NPCs and issue commands for assistance, and the more people you convince, the more powerful your neighborhood watch will become. For a different playstyle option, you will actually be able to play as Michael Myers in a standalone single-player story. This game I think looks really promising, and I'm hoping that it delivers and offers continuously fun gameplay. But we'll find out later this year because it comes out September 8th and will be available on PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. If you've ever worked with your friends, you know that it can be a lot of fun. It can also be a chaotic mess. I don't actually know if it could be anything else when you throw in horror elements, since it always seems like our collective brain is way weaker than our individual ones. In Shift at Midnight, you and 2 of your buddies are taking care of business at a rural gas station, stocking shelves, keeping the space clean, and helping customers. Except some of the customers aren't exactly normal. It's up to you 3 to make sure that a monster doesn't slip away unnoticed. If it does, all hell is about to break loose. You're going to have to set traps, barricade doors, and of course, rely on each other in order to hopefully survive the night. Unfortunately, there's no hard release date yet, just Q2 2026, but there is a demo available if you'd like to try surviving the shift ahead of schedule. The Dark Pictures anthology series is, I would say, relatively well known for a few different reasons. Some are pretty good, some are a little confusing, and some maybe miss the mark a bit. But all of them involve my favorite guy, and they all involve making choices to determine the fates of the characters. I am super looking forward to their next installment because it is a sci-fi horror, which is one of my favorites. In Directive 8020, Earth is, alas, dying, and the end of humanity is unfortunately near. Luckily, there's another planet that could just be suitable. Unfortunately, a colony ship crashes on the planet, and the crew discovers that they're definitely not alone. You'll have to make some very difficult choices and figure out exactly who you can trust since you're hunted by an alien organism that can mimic its prey. Everyone you thought you knew and everyone you thought you could trust could now be an enemy. and every choice ahead of you is way more difficult than the last one. This was originally coming out last year in 2025, and I was a little disappointed with its delay because originally it was coming out on my birthday, but I'm hoping that the extra time they've taken means we're going to get a really cool thing-like sci-fi story. So far, it's supposed to come out sometime within the first half of 2026, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled for more news. It'll launch on Steam, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. Soma was one of the coolest and definitely more interesting horror games that I played. I loved the story and I thought it was very nuanced, and I'm very excited that we're getting a spiritual successor. In Ontos, you play as Aditi Amani and are invited to the Samsara Hotel on the moon that has been repurposed into something greater. Your journey started as a quest for answers, but it ultimately devolves into something much stranger as reality begins to break. As you explore the halls, guided by fragments of your father's memories, you'll uncover chilling and disturbing experiments that really push the boundaries of science and morality. As you solve puzzles and, of course, make choices, you'll be confronted by the consequences of your actions. And as twisted as the things around you are, it's almost impossible to judge what is actually the right course. I think this looks to be another super layered, very intriguing narrative, and I am really excited to see more. The game is slated for release this year, and I'm hoping that we'll get to explore the Labyrinthian Hotel very soon. Springs Eternal is the newest game from Fulbright, the people behind Gone Home and Tacoma, and is another narrative adventure game. Inexplicably drawn to Stillwater Springs, you'll explore the mysterious, secluded hot springs, piecing together the memories of the relationship that led you here. As you explore, you'll meet other lost souls that were led to the springs for one reason or another. Through conversations and just your own exploration, you'll find out how their stories relate to your own, and find the secrets that Stillwater Springs is hiding. While not necessarily a horror game, much like Gone Home, this game is just a little eerie. This is a short exploration. It's about 2 to 3 hours in length, but it's filled with heartfelt and very human experiences as you wander the supernatural setting. This game is anticipated for this year, but it was just announced at the end of 2025, so it's still early days. And last, but definitely not least, another horror franchise is getting something new. Actually, they're getting two something news. Bloober Team, the devs behind the popular Silent Hill 2 remake, have confirmed that they are working on the remake of the first Silent Hill. Obviously, there's more to come on that. It was just barely announced. But also announced is Silent Hill Townfall. If you remember, this was first mentioned back in 2022, and then we didn't really hear anything at all. While it has been confirmed to be in development, news surrounding it is still relatively vague. It's been in active development for about 5.5 years at this point, and it's being co-published by Konami and Annapurna Interactive. People more well-versed than I in Silent Hill and its release schedule are projecting that we'll get a release date this year for Townfall, which is why I've included it on the list. Something to look forward to, at least, in the world of Silent Hill games. There's a lot of TBD titles in this list, I admit, but we also do still have a lot of horror games to look forward to that do have confirmed launch dates this year. We are still very early in the year, and of course, all of the gaming events are just over the horizon, so I am sure we will get more news soon, or at least I'm keeping my fingers crossed for it. What do you guys think? What are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I will see you in the next video.